Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Heike and you're watching stonecoldcoffeecrafts. And today it's finally time for another Flosstube video. To be honest, last week was time for it, but I think you can still hear it. I'm still all, clogged up. I think my mortal enemy right now is the birch tree. Not completely sure, because officially I'm not allergic to anything that's green and flying. But yeah, tell me that joke again, because every spring this happens. See that giant ass tree there? That's a birch tree, and I think that's my mortal enemy. Gorgeous though. So yeah, please excuse me if I am not 100% here, but I didn't want to take another week off. Maybe I should have, I have no idea. I decided it was time to sit down and film because things are getting out of hand here. Also today I have decided not to include anything yarn in this. There's going to be a separate video for that because that has so gone out of hand. So this deserves its own video. So today it's stitching only, and this is 3 weeks worth of stitching theoretically. Honestly, only the last, I would say, 9 days, I think, were really spent on stitching. The time before that I mostly spent on diamond painting because I hadn't done any diamond painting before, and you probably know this channel started out as a diamond painting channel, and I promised not to completely abandon that, even though my new obsession is more in the stitching and knitting way. So sorry for the sniffles, they are going to happen. I hope there will be no sneezing, but we will see. So we have no finished things and no FFOs this week. Still haven't come around to buying the frames. Actually, the frames for the stuff I have finished aren't the problem. I could just order them, but the rest of it I would have to go out, and I haven't felt like it, even though I think the DIY stores are still open. There's a bit of conflicting information there, but it's not essential, so I'm not doing it. Hey Lola baby. So let me get this a bit organized here, because of course I did stack them in the wrong order. So let's start out with whips, and there is only one whip this week, which is my Satsuma Street Alice Mystery Cell. And you might remember where we were last time. I don't. Not exactly. I know that I had the center square finished, and I think in the Flosstube video I only had started on the white part of the frame on the inside. So hi, careful. Yeah, I know. So I did all the rest in the last, I think, 9 days. So I finished the frame, finished chapter 3, which is the little caterpillar, Absalom. Giving you a close-up of him. And I finished him an hour before chapter 4 dropped. Or not, no, I finished him earlier. I finished these freaking corners an hour before Absalom dropped. So the order I did it because I had to get my materials in. I purchased this pattern, I think, a day or two before it actually started. So by the time the first pattern dropped, I didn't have my materials for this. So as always, I have been delayed from the get-go. And then I decided to start with chapter 2 because that was easier. It was the center chapter. I didn't have to figure out where to put the frame. I also didn't realize I had bought the wrong size fabric. It's supposed to go on the 28 count, and this is a 32 count linen. So I started stitching chapter 2, and once chapter 2 was finished, I started stitching the frame, but I actually didn't fully complete it. I just completed this part here, and then I completed the frame for chapter 3 because I wanted to have the frame done to have a point to orient myself. And once that was done, I completed the whole frame, and that was finished an hour before the next chapter dropped. So this Cheshire Cat dropped on Friday? Was Friday the 10th? I believe Friday was the 10th. This pattern dropped. Yeah, thank you, Lola. That was a head bump. And I finished stitching him on Sunday. So 3 days. And I think he is absolutely stinking cute. So this is all caught up for the time being. Lola, move your furry butt, please. The next pattern, which will go here. This is the spot for chapter 5, will drop on the 24th. So you should see that one again next time. Yeah. You should. I hope. We'll see. I might do an extra Flosstube right before Stitch Mania starts, or right at the time Stitch Mania starts, but more on that later. So this is the only whip I worked on. Sniffles, like I said. Give me a short moment. New starts. There are 2. So, on a whim, I decided to start on Strutting Tom by Lindy Stitches. I was much further along than this, and yes, I know my fabric is crooked in here, don't care. I was much further along. I don't know if you can see that, but I think you can still see a bit of fuzz here. So I basically already had his tail feathers started when I realized I had miscounted somewhere here. And that put it all off, so I frogged it all out again. And I have not gone back since, because then I started to work on Alice in earnest and wanted to finish her first. But this is the fabric that comes with the kit. The kit was a market exclusive. I absolutely hate how my DMC stitches look on this fabric. Don't know if you can see it, but they look all wonky, and I don't know what's up with me and DMC. So the dark gray is actually, I think, a Weeks Dye Works, and that looks fine. These are actually pretty neat crosses, but the DMC looks all, yeah. So this kit was a market exclusive. I bought it from Topknot Stitcher. That's where I managed to get one. She's out now, so you can only get the pattern. And the kit comes with the Weeks Dye Works floss. It comes with these little pins, which later will go into the pin cushion at his feathers. Comes with the fabric. Comes with all the pretty fabrics for the back and also for the little stripes here. This pom-pom trim and the chenille trim. And some lining. I'll be honest, I have no idea if this will ever be finished into a pillow, because I can't sew to save my life, and I've read the instructions, but I'm already panicking, so I have no idea if this will ever happen. So this is new start number 1. Maybe I'm going to work on it this week. I am not sure yet. I want to knit something, and tomorrow the Zodiac, the Chinese Zodiac SAL from Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery is actually starting. So when you see this, it should have started. My second new start is my Long Dog sampler. Oh, it's actually showing the fabric. Very nice this time. It's not washing out. Nice. So I purchased the Long Dog sampler Forevermore. I purchased some, yeah, I'm going to blur that. I purchased some Silks for You silk for it. So this is just a tiny bit of it. I have a full hank of it. It's this variegated one in... I have the back here. Just a second. I kept the little bag. This is PR053. And this is a variegation that goes from ecru to green. And I've started on it. I think I worked about 4 to 5 hours total on it. Not long. Also, I was watching something while I worked on it, so I was not at my quickest. But this is what I've done so far. I absolutely enjoy stitching with the silk. It's so smooth going. This fabric is... I still have a bit of it left over because it's so pretty. I actually was not going to use the full thing. I don't need the whole piece I bought, so... Hey, kitty. She is wreaking havoc on the man's desk right now. I think the card is still in here, or not. Ah, no, it's not, because it's over here. It's over here. So, it is from hand dyed by Rolanda. Can see her Etsy information there. It is a 28 count linen in opalescent, medium blue. It is absolutely gorgeous. And I still have this narrow strip left over. See, this is just that much. But it should be enough to put one of the more narrow pieces, like the raccoons from Frosted Pumpkin, on there. So that's what I'm planning. Just haven't decided yet which one. Yeah, I see you, cat. I see you and I don't trust you. She actually wants me to come into the living room and have her sleep on the dining room table in her cat bed. Wow, I'm dropping stuff. I'm sorry. Dropping stuff left and right. So yeah, basically what I've done is I've started on this first ornament here. And I decided to start in the... Is this left? Yeah, that's left. In the upper left corner this time. Usually I'm a center starter. But I decided to start in the upper left corner. So the way I've cut this fabric, I still have plenty of space here. I don't have too much. As you can see, that's all I have on the top. But usually when I frame stuff, I don't need a whole lot of extra fabric on the sides. Because I buy my frames custom sized. So it should be enough. And if I need more, I can actually sew a different fabric on. But I don't think I will need more. So this is my second new start. I was actually thinking about the third one, and you will see it in a moment, but I decided to keep it for probably Stitch Mania. Which brings us to plans, I think. Yeah, might be a good time for plans. And Stitch Mania. So I've decided, after watching Stephanie's Lindy Stitch's latest video, that I actually like her idea of approaching Stitch Mania. Yeah, hi! As you might have gathered, I'm not a person who starts a million things. I'm usually someone who decides on a project and then stitches on it until it's done. Yeah, hi. Proof number one, Alice. So I have decided that I am going to approach the whole thing like she described, basically. I don't know if she is already 100% set on how she's going to do it, but she called it Stitch Cenina. And basically what she was thinking about is setting a weekly goal, a weekly stitching goal, and only if she meets it, she is going to start something new. So that appeals a lot more to me than starting 20 new things at once. And I think that's what I'm going to do. So for the first week of Stitch Mania, I am probably... honestly, by then I should be caught up again with my Alice, and the new pattern for the Chinese Zodiac hasn't started yet, but I'm going to probably choose the long dog to concentrate on, I don't know. Also, I'm not going to start stuff that is not on my Make 10 and 20 list, because I have still plenty of projects from that list I haven't started yet. One exception to that being, because I don't want to change up the Make 10 and 20 list again, but I want to start it. Hey, baby. And I think we are going to mix plans and hauls and haul now. I got the, like everyone else, I got the Baby It's Cold Outside pattern. I also managed to get a piece of Yam Extra. I'm going to stitch this on sparkly fabric. I managed to get a piece of 28 count crystal oaken. I decided I wanted to stitch this one bigger than the than the model. I don't want to get into too many 36 and 40 count projects. For one, I don't like 36. It's this awkward in between. I'm not sure if one thread covers it enough. I'm sure 2 threads covers it too much. So I generally go to 40 count if I want to do something small in 1/2. No cleaning out of the shelves, please. So, and I also didn't like the color that showed on screen for the ale. So this is actually supposed to go on picture, this plus ale. Quite honestly, it was sold out anyway. And me being in Germany means I can't get picture this plus very easily. I have to buy it from the US, which right now doesn't work at all, because I have another piece of picture this plus in the mail, which I actually ordered only hours after I ordered this. And it has been stuck in LA for weeks now. It's not moving. So I'm going to guess this is due to the virus that is not moving, which is super annoying. There's more stuff that has been stuck in Miami for 4 weeks now and is not moving. And also I am waiting for my Fortnite fabrics for March. I don't get tracking numbers for that, so I am assuming this is also somewhere stuck in transition. So I'm not going to order anything from the US in the next few weeks, because it doesn't seem to get through anyway. So let's not do that, because I'm also worried that with all the backlog stuff is going to get lost. And yeah. So, like I said, I decided, and if the cat... Come on, cat. Yeah. Come on. Lay down in my arms, please. So, I decided to stitch this bigger. This is most of the threads. I'm missing one color. Picnic Basket, I think, was the last color. That's missing here. And I also belatedly decided to go with the Alteration Bath Twist posted. As you might know, you probably know, most people that are who are stitching this right now are stitching it in remembrance of Leanne, who sadly passed away at the beginning of the year. As most of the people stitching this, I also didn't really know her before she actually passed, which is very sad. I've gone back and I've watched some of her videos she made with her best friend. I'm going to put the channel down below if I remember. I hope I will. Oh boy. Kitty, no cleaning out of the shelves, please. So we are stitching it in remembrance of her. And I've gone back and watched some of the videos, and she was a very, very happy lady. So I loved the videos I saw, even though it was hard to watch them knowing she wasn't there any longer. Was a bit weird. But I think she deserves this. Yeah, and Beth Twist actually altered her pattern. She took out a couple of the trees you can see here and put a bird names. Please excuse me, bird names in English, not my forte. I will put the name in here. The red bird with the black markings. What's his name? It's not a robin. Jeez, I've forgotten. Sorry, bird name's not my strong suit. So I belatedly decided to use the alteration, and I need a couple more colors for that. Also, what I don't... Oh, cat. Also, what I don't really feel like it actually fits what the model looks like is the Piney Woods. This is supposed to be a green, but at least my Piney Woods is very on the brown side. So this looks much more green. I might order a few green alternatives. I'm not sure if I like this one. I would like to have a real green in here. I also don't know if I have enough thread, to be honest, but we will see. We will see. This doesn't look like much, but I think it's very deceptive. So this is the only new start I'm going to allow myself that is not on my Make 10 list. So yeah, basically I'm going to do this, set a stitching goal for Stitch Mania, and if I reach the goal, I'm going to start one of my Make 10 and 20 things I haven't started yet, which right now are Nightwalk Down, Toil and Trouble. I think I'm going to get a different fabric for that now. I've been waiting for a couple of months for the Lakeside Linen. I ordered it from traditional Stitches in Canada. I'm totally assuming this is also due to the virus. I mean, they told me that it would take, I think, 8 to 10 weeks for them to get the linen from Lakeside Linen and then ship it to me. But I think this is now up. I have to look it up, but I'm pretty sure at least 8 weeks are up. And I'm going to assume that they are not able right now to get the fabric in. I'm still going to buy it once it hits their store. I've ordered it, so that's not in question. But I think I'm going to get a different fabric, probably from XJU Design, and see how that goes. All right, so what else? Frosty Forest is one I haven't started yet and could start. I am going to start the Chinese Zodiac tomorrow, so when you see this, I probably have started it, yeah. Should have. And what else have I not started yet? Whatever else is on the list. Oh yeah, the Gothic house, right. The Nora Corbett Gothic house, because I actually also got the beads for that. With the same order I got this stuff. Which is why this was the first order picked out by Customs. So I've got the beads now, which means I am all set up to do the Nora Corbett Gothic house. I mean, the beads didn't keep me from starting at the beads come last. So that would have worked fine without. But I have them now, so I should. And it's part of my Make 10, so I should start it. That's another one, and I think that's all I can remember right now. So that's the plans. Also, my plan is to probably switch to weekly videos for Stitch Mania at least. I don't know if I will keep it up afterwards, but I thought it would be good to do a weekly status update. So that's what I'm going to try for. All right, the rest of my haul. It's not too much this time. I got... You already know the threads and stuff. I already had that, but I now got the Glen & Blaze Halloween luck patterning. I have ordered the fabric. I have ordered a piece of 28, I believe. I ordered 28 count Aurora opalescent cashel from Crafty Kitten. I'm going to put a picture here to show you what it looks like. It's basically a mixture of green, purple. I didn't like the suggestion to stitch this on orange and black, because this is all orange and black and I would like to have a bit more of a contrast. And the one color that's not in here that's typically Halloween is actually purple. And I saw Lollipop Stitches finish hers last year, and she actually stitched it, I think, on a 20 count Ada piece of Aurora, and I liked how this looked, but I didn't want to do 20 count. I think the pattern actually also says 28. Yeah, the pattern actually, the model is actually stitched on a 20 count. So I decided to go for that. Mainly because the proportions will be all off for the little bats that go on here. So yeah. Yeah. You're back. Great. So I'm a bit of a rule follower as far as sizes and threads go, until I am not, which is this one. So I got this pattern. I think I'm going to start it around Halloween time, because quite honestly, Crafty Kitten is very backlogged with their custom orders right now. I don't expect to get this fabric before, when did I order it? End of March, I think I ordered it. So I don't expect to get it. And my very talented cat stopped the recording. Oh, the keyboard is still on the table. I didn't realize. She laid down on it. So I hope that the first part of this video is not completely screwed now. And I have no idea what I was talking about. Oh yeah, she's very delayed, so I don't expect the fabric to arrive until end of May, beginning of June probably. Anyway, so we will see. Currently all my orders have come in with at least 8 weeks, if not 9 to 10 weeks delay. So another pattern I got on a whim is Barbara Anna Spring Deer. I absolutely adore this. And please check out Barbara Anna's Instagram account. She has a link to her link tree. She has provided 2 free patterns for the Be Well and Stitch movement, and they are big and they are gorgeous. It's a fox in a dress called Light, and it's a goose in a dress called Key, or The Key, I think The Key. And they are both absolutely adorable, as is this one. So this is probably the first Barbara Anna pattern I saw and wanted. Nope, you are not going to do that again. I might have to put you in the barbecue if you do. So I finally got that one. I could have gotten the PDF from Creative Poppy. I didn't realize that, but I know that now. Which might be the route I'm going to take from here on, because I actually don't plan to resell my patterns, and I might as well get the PDF. I stitch in front of my computer most of the time anyway, because that's where I watch most of my YouTube. So that's probably what I'm going to do. And speaking of Barbara Anna, yeah, this is actually going to be something you will see during Stitch Mania. I forgot. I signed up for a Halloween SAL, which is going to start on May 1st. So first week you are probably going to see the first part of that. Yeah, another one I'm going to start that is not a part of my Make 10. See how far that plan went down the drain? So, working around the cat here. And last but not least, I got my second order for Market. I asked Acorns and Threads, yeah, to get this for me. I did not realize at the time that it would come out pretty soon afterwards, or right away afterwards. So I probably could have gotten it now It arrived a few days ago, not too long ago. But quite honestly, the ladies at Acorns and Threads were so nice, and I'm actually pretty happy I bought it from them. What I didn't expect, and they did do, they actually send it to me free shipping. So I plan to order something from them in the future, just to say thank you for that, because I fully expected to pay shipping. I mean, I always have to, so fully expected that. So this is the Friendship Sampler, which Michelle Garrett and Janine McGowan from the Blue Flower, Michelle Garrett, Bendy Stitchy, and Janine McGowan, the Blue Flower, designed together. And my friend Rachel and I, we decided we wanted to stitch this together, and we wanted to stitch it partly for each other. So what we have agreed now to do is we are going to stitch the bottom part, which was designed by Michelle, for each other, and the top parts for ourselves, because the bottom part has the friendship thing in there. And we actually got fabric for that. So we decided, because the original fabric is Lakeside Linens again, Flagstone. This is impossible to get for us. So we decided we are going to try and get a different fabric that matches it. And Michelle was nice enough to tell me which DMC color was the closest to the Flagstone fabric. And we went on Etsy and purchased a piece of fabric from Barbara Creations. I got the 32 count in opalescent because, again, I am that extra. And I think she purchased 40 count. And of course not sparkly. I don't think they make sparkly linen in 40 count. Yeah, so let's see how that goes. The photograph looks a little bit more purple, but this should actually match it pretty nicely if the DMC color... I have actually not checked if this matches the DMC color, but Barbara Creations mentioned, but I'm pretty sure it does. So this is what this is going on. I don't have the threads yet. I'm going to purchase them probably next month. I don't know. We haven't decided yet when we are going to start this anyway. We have to talk about that. And because I am a fabric dragon, I bought a second piece. She had a 40 count in smoky violet. And I was very curious about the color. I wanted a toned down purple in 40 count for probably some kind of sampler or something. So that's another one I got. I got more fabric, of course. X2 Designs. No lying down on the fabric, please. I'm going to make it all hairy. So X2 Designs, I got a piece of 32 count Little Bunny. And on camera that looks really beige. It is, but it's actually a tiny bit more PG than it shows on camera. It's a gorgeous neutral color. I absolutely adore this. This basically was bought to go in my neutral collection for whatever. And then I bought the 28 count brown sand. And this shows very gray on camera. It's more brown, but it's a very... This is the prettiest neutral taupe color I have seen so far. And I just contacted her. I saw she answered right before I started recording this. I contacted her to get a piece of 40 count because I might have changed my plans about the night walk down. I think it might look even better on this. So that's what I got while I was ordering from 123 Stitch, and they actually had pictured this plus 28 eighths in stock. I also got a piece of Wren, also in opalescent. This was bought with a purpose. I want to do you know, last year I stitched the Nutcracker Parade. There was actually 2 pieces they did before that fit the size and the overall makeup of the whole thing. I think it's called Christmas Town. I'm not entirely sure. I'm going to put a picture here. And I'm going to purchase this. This was originally when they still had the kit stitched on 28 Crystal Wren. So that's why I got it. It was in stock and I thought, hey, why not? Let's get it. Speaking about Crafty Kitten, I ordered 2 pieces of fabric in January. I think it was the 15th. Or it might be January 1st. It took a long time, is what I'm trying to say. There are reasons for that. So I'm not shaming her for that. And I originally got these as possible fabrics for memorabilia. I'm not going to use them for that. 1, because I am not a huge fan of 32 count even weave, I have learned, and 2, because they are too pale, which is a problem with even weave, not just with the 32 count. So, and I've since switched to linen anyway. So I actually have reordered this, which is Winter Sunset. I have reordered this in linen. I've also gone a size bigger because I've done a bit of research, and a lot of people who have stitched memorabilias on hand-dyed fabric have said that the beads lie a bit prettier if you go 28 instead of the recommended 32 because of the shrinkage. When the linen is hand-dyed, it's going to shrink. And yeah, that's what I'm going to do. You could also go a size smaller with the beads, but my memorabilia Cathedral Wood Goddess already has the 15.0 beads in it. Quite a few of them. It has both 15 and 11.0. So there is nothing smaller than 15.0. I could switch out the 11.0s with a 15, but there's nothing smaller to go for with a 15. So I decided to go for 28. I enjoy 28 more anyway, at least as far as hand-dyed goes. Yeah. And the second I got was Moon Blush. This is a Jobelin. I just wanted to see what the difference is. I think it's even more even than this, I think. Is what I'm seeing so far. I think here in this one there's a bit of a synthetic fiber, but once again that makes it hard to dye. This actually looks pretty. It's also a lot lighter than I thought it would be. So, been waiting for ages for that, nearly forgotten them. So, and then some random purchases, which I'm going to try to put into camera. I'm sorry for not adjusting the camera, but I'm still filming with my backup camera arm, and this is not as easily adjustable as my old one was. So hand-dyed by Rolanda. I have pretty much moved to the system of, oh, she updated her shop. Is there something pretty? Mine. So I have bought again a 40 count linen. It's a quarter and it's a grayish purple, and it's actually amazing. There's real gray, dark gray modeling in here to show you a bit of a difference between the Barbarol and the hand dyed by Rolanda. This is much cooler. This is more of a warm purple. This is a cool one, and it has a lot more gray in it. It's actually so pretty. Her fabrics, so recommended. This I bought because it looks absolutely bonkers. So this is a 28 opalescent, again a quarter. I think this might be ice dyed. But I saw this, I have no idea what I'm going to put on it, but it just looks so bonkers. It's so pretty. I will find something someday. And the last one, I've joined a few Facebook groups recently that do limited fabric posts on certain days, and you can grab them, and if you're lucky you get them. So this is by Dyeing for Cross Stitch. It's again a quarter, it's a 28 count opalescent linen, and this is a mixture of light aqua and light purple. And no one wanted it. I was actually very late for this. I think I was a couple of hours late. So she has a rule: you can only claim one piece of fabric per hour per album. She posts albums with all the different fabric types and sizes, and for whatever reason this fabric was not very well loved. It was still available. I have to rescue my huge pile of stuff. It was still available in both 28 and 32. I decided I wanted to go with the 28. Alright. I will be back in a short moment. I have to rescue this before I move on. Alright. So, before I talk about the last part of my haul, I wanted to get into... I don't know if I want to call it Stitchy Kindness. This was actually my Easter present from my crafty best friend. We have been friends for a long time. I think for 11 years now, and we usually give each other small gifts for certain holidays. Birthday and Christmas we go a bit wild, but I think she decided to go a bit wild for Easter this year because she gave me Miss Christmas Eve and the Rain Queen. So these were two patterns I had on my wish list. And she decided to get me two of them. I opened this and was, what the heck? I mean, when I saw the shape of the package, I was pretty sure she had gotten me a Mirabilia. But she got me two. So this is actually, I don't know if you know that, the Rain Queen is a companion piece to, I don't know what she calls her, but she looks a lot like the Cathedral Wood Goddess. And but the Cathedral one is a bit prettier. But I like the Rain Queen, and it's going to be the companion piece to my Cathedral Woods Goddess. So yeah, very excited about that. I have not found a piece of fabric yet I like this on as far as fabric viewer goes. It's very hard. Miss Christmas Eve, on the other hand, I have decided I'm going to get a piece of spun gold by Polstitches design. Because that is actually pretty close to what this fabric looks like, just without the boring. So it has a bit more of modeling of life in it, and again, because I am me, I'm going to get it in opalescent. So any recommendations on fabric for her, I'm open to that. So far I don't like a whole lot. The stuff I like looks very different on the actual homepage, so I'm torn. I'm very torn. But yeah, my awesome crafty best friend Dani got me these two, and I'm super excited about them. I'm pretty sure they are not going to go in the frame this year, but we are going to get ready for that. So why I separated these three is because I got a question from Healing Gamer, who wants to get into cross stitch, and she asked me how to decide where you can buy kits. And my last three pieces of haul are kits. So the first one is the Chinese Zodiac. This is a full kit which comes with the 28 count Pictureless Plus scent, either depending on what you choose, linen, which I chose, or Ada. It comes with all the threads you need, and it comes with the specialty threads. Though this kit has some petite treasure braids, it also has a toile And let's hope that the red étoile is a bit nicer to stitch with than the black. I didn't mention that my Alice piece, the frame part of it, anything black in there was stitched with étoile black. And I don't know if you can see that, the thread, how it looks. This actually makes the stitches sometimes very ugly. So I hope this will work a bit better. I also, because I can, got the needle minder for that. So that's the first kit I got. And then finally, my last two Owl Forest kits I ordered arrived. The first one being the Sea King, and I'm so freaking excited about that. Showing you a close-up. It costs an arm and a leg. Honestly, it's super expensive. But I wanted to see how these charts look, if it's actually easy to source the beads, and the answer is no. But I have an unboxing, and I don't know, have I published this yet? I don't think so. I think this was supposed to go up this week. I believe, I'm not sure. But I've filmed an unboxing for this, and there are two things that are not easy to source. So these are super easy. These are just DMCs, and in my unboxing I show you which these are. These are the hand-dyed flosses. You can get them separately. They sell all the floss packs for all 4 of these kits on their webpage. So if this is too expensive for you, but you still want the threads, you might want to check out if you want to order the thread pack and get the pattern in PDF format. And if you want to, or you can get it printed too. That's up to you. They have all the options. Just keep in mind they are right now not shipping. Russia has shut down mail going out and in, I believe. So you can't order from Russia right now, or you probably can, but it won't be shipped until, I believe, May. Not entirely sure, but they have discounted all their PDF patterns right now by 30%, because they can't ship stuff, but they can still give you PDFs. So if you're interested and want to get the PDF pattern, get it now. It's 30% off, and that's totally worth it. So the beads are actually not easy to source. They are mostly Czech glass beads, but they don't always give you the correct name and color for that. So this could get a bit tricky. And the linen is hand-dyed according to the packaging, so this should also be not easy to get. It's a very pretty color actually, which does not really show on camera. It shows much more aqua than it is. So there's actually more green going on. But it's a very pretty kit. It's worth it to me. But I want to be open with you. Yes, this is expensive, especially if you consider that this has less stitches than much cheaper kits I have gotten, and yeah. But I'm not unhappy with it, and I still plan to get the other 3 whenever they come back in stock. They come very sporadically back in stock. Honestly, I have only seen the Sea King and the Ice Queen in stock ever. The other 2, no. And the second that finally came in is this one, which is the Humpbacked Horse kit. And going to give you the close-up. And you can ask Rachel, I totally flipped my lid when I saw this, because the Humpbacked Horse is actually a Russian fairy tale which they made into, if you watch it now, it's horrible. It's horrible. It's basically unwatchable, and I still did. It's on YouTube if you're interested. They turned it into an animated movie. And I know as a kid, I used to watch this animated movie. My parents had a copy of that, and I used to rewatch it at least maybe 2 or 3 times a year. Maybe as an explanation, we didn't have any relatives where I grew up. My parents moved because of the job. They didn't have super close-knit friendships. I don't know why, but this just didn't happen. I think it was just the environment we lived in. It didn't lend itself to getting to know your neighbors and actually forming friendships, you know, huge apartment complexes and stuff like that. So from a very young age, I used to be home alone on Saturday mornings. So my parents started this tradition of using the VCR, as the babysitter, because my mother would go out and get me a couple of movies from the rental, and I would watch those. So this became a tradition. And one of those movies she first rented, and I think they actually made a copy of that, was this one. And like I said, it's unwatchable today, but all these little elements you can see here are straight from the animated movie. The black horses with the golden manes, and it's straight from that movie. It's awesome. I absolutely adore it. So I had to have this. I have not opened this yet. So Customs has opened it. That's why the sticker is cut. But I have not gotten into this. They for sure have. I'm actually on a super beef with Customs right now. Because what you don't see here and what you should see is my Evertoad Alice collection bag. Yeah, they kept it for about a month. When they finally forwarded it, I got my documentation so late that when I provided my paperwork to Customs, it was already on its way back. Yay. So, yeah, I was very grumpy about that. So this is future me. I have just been editing this episode of Flosstube, and I realized while listening back to it what I tried to say yesterday when I tried to answer the question Healing Gamer had asked me, that I didn't make any sense at all. So yesterday was not a good day as far as my coherence went. So I thought I would jump on again and film this again and just insert it between my goodbyes and my haul section of the Flosstube. So Healing Gamer asked me a question. She is thinking about getting into stitching, and she asked me about recommendations where to buy kits. So I think her question actually comes from her diamond painting background, because in diamond painting you always get full kits. In stitching, not so much. So Healing Gamer usually with cross stitch, hey Lola, it works that way that you buy a pattern, and most of your time you just buy the pattern, and then you source your floss and fabric, and if you need them, beads and specialty threads yourself. But there are some companies that offer pre-kitted kits. And my recommendation number one would be don't buy any kits you find on sites like AliExpress, Wish, whatever else they may be called. I think there's one called Joom as well. Because on those sites you can be pretty certain that the patterns have been stolen. So they are not actually paying the pattern designer. They are also not using high quality fabric. I have tried a kit from China before I knew better. It was a very stiff, very unfun Aida cloth, and the threads were okay. They are not DMC, but they are good to stitch with. Nothing wrong about them. I have not checked if the colors actually match the DMC, because they are supposed to mimic it. But still, I would say no, don't buy kits there, because you can be pretty sure that the pattern is stolen. If you want to, you can go on there and purchase fabric and floss, but please no patterns. So then there are companies that sell their own patterns in kits, like this one, for example, Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. They only sell their own stuff, their own patterns, and some of them they sell for a limited time as kits. Like this Chinese Zodiac Cell, which is, I don't know if I mentioned it before, Cell or SAL means stitch along. And they sell these as kits. It's usually Zweigart fabric. Cat, please. Down. I usually don't mind if she tries to sit on a box, but this is a box of chocolate. So I mind that very much. Let me put that over there. So, where was I? Completely off track now. Yeah, they usually use high quality fabric, which is Zweigart. You can always recognize that by the orange line here. Zweigart is a German company. They produce cross-stitch fabric in all the types. So this is linen. They also have Aida. They have even weave. So you can get those. You usually have a choice which type you want to get. You can see they had here Cashel, which is a linen, and they had Aida, and I chose Cashel. They usually kit up with original DMC floss. In this case, we have regular DMC. We have the DMC Etoile, which has a bit of a sparkle to it. And for this particular kit, you also get from Rainbow Gallery the Petite Treasure Braid, which is a golden thread. And that's usually all you need. So the pattern is going to be PDF. I think there is a print option as well, but I generally choose PDF. Well, no, for the SIL, there probably isn't a print version because you get a new part of the pattern every 2 weeks to a month, depending on how the circle runs. So for this, it's once a month. Yeah, and that's pretty much all you need. Other companies that sell their own patterns as kits. Clouds Factory did that. They had a stitch along this year, or it's still running. They didn't have it. They have it. It's the Crimm's Fairy Tale. They offered a kit option on their site as well, but it's the same deal. They provide you with the DMC floss for the stitch along, and they use Picture This Plus fabric as well. So Picture This Plus means usually it's Zweigart fabric and it's hand dyed. So that's the same thing. You can source this easily yourself. The only other company that comes to mind right now that sells their own designs as full kits is our Forest Embroidery from Russia, the ones I just showed. They use also their own patterns, only their own patterns. You can't purchase anything they haven't designed. And they use Zweigart fabric. They use either, they hand dye their threads, and they use either DMC as a base or Finca, which I think is a Spanish floss. And if you have specialty threads in the kits, they provide those as well. But you don't actually have to get a full kit. The patterns always will come with at least one list of floss. Usually it will be DMC. There are some designers that stitch with overdyed cotton floss, like Weeks Dye Works, Classic Color Works, the Gentle Arts, but those designers usually also provide a DMC conversion, and DMC is very easy to get pretty much everywhere. If you are lucky and live in the US, it's also dirt cheap. So I think you can get a skein of DMC at Michael's $3-4, something like that. Cheapest I can purchase is 96 cents per skein. Germany is a bit more extra, but I know we are not the most expensive. I think Ireland is worse. If I listen to Rachel, what she tells me sometimes, what the prices are there. So these are two companies I can recommend because I have bought kits from them. Another company I have bought kits from, but this is a but. You have to check first if they actually have the rights to sell the pattern. So the only other company I have so far purchased, no, there are two. There's a French company as well, but let's not talk about them because they are very special. The only other company than that I have purchased from, and that doesn't sell their own designs but designers' designs, is NitkaNitka in Russia. And I have purchased 2 kits with a pattern from the designer Barbara Anna. You can get Barbara Anna charts pretty much everywhere where you can cross-stitch. You can get cross-stitch charts. There was one in my haul section today, which I purchased at 123 Stitch. But these 2 patterns I purchased are exclusive to Barbara, to NitkaNitka. So only this one shop can sell them, and they sell them as kits. So if I hadn't been sure that they had the rights to sell this as a kit, I wouldn't have purchased it. So usually, I don't know if there's actually a huge problem with purchasing patterns from Russian shops. I think the problem was actually file sharing, which resulted in this exclusive cooperation with a Russian shop. Again, not entirely sure. But if you see a shop that sells fully kitted kits, check that they actually have the right to do that. A few other companies that sell their stuff as kits I know but haven't tried are Dimensions. You can get those also in a lot of shops. They are usually more or less full coverage pieces, and they give you the thread that you need. I have no idea if those threads are DMC or other companies. I know from what I've seen that they come in a huge mess. So that's one reason why I'm not going to touch that. There is a British company called Polstitches Threads. They sell their own designs again as kits, but you can get these kits all over. But like I said, that's the difference. The shop hasn't kitted it up themselves. These things come as kits. I think they use DMC. I'm not entirely sure, but those should be fine to buy if you like the designs. They have a broad variety of designs. We had DMC, we had Polstitches Threads. There is a company called Lanarte. I have no idea how to pronounce that. I think they are French, so I'm going to say Lanarte. And they sell fully kitted designs. I've never seen it. I know they do multiple mystery stitch-alongs per year. But I haven't tried them, but they should be fine to buy. I don't know how they come, if you get the floss like this or if it's the dimension mess, no idea. And I think that's all the companies I can recall right now that sell pre-kitted kits. What you can also do if you are in the US, you can check if you either have a needlework shop close by, call them and ask them to kit a design you like up for you. They usually have a broad variety of fabrics, and if they don't have the one the pattern specifically calls for, they can make a recommendation what you could get instead. They can kit you up with all the threads you need. They might be able to recommend a conversion of threads, because the designer designs in a certain thread type. It could be DMC, it could be an overdyed. But I've, for example, watched in the last few days videos from, I think it's The Attic. Yeah, should be The Attic. It's one of the local needlework stores. I think that one is in Arizona, if I remember correctly. And they, for example, provide conversions to silk threads. So sometimes shops have these recommendations. And even if you don't have one close to you, you can still call them up, ask them to kit something up for you and ship it to you. Usually they are fine with it, and especially right now, I think all of them actually do that, because right now they are all shut down and they are not allowed to have customers in the store. So this is also a good way to support these small businesses, because those are all small businesses. And then, of course, there's the giant of the cross-stitch world in the US as far as online shops go. I think that's the biggest one. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but that's 123 Stitch. You can also go there and look for a pattern. Usually they have this little box in the pattern listing that lists everything you need for it, and you can put it all in your cart at once. Not everything might be in stock, so that's always a bit of a little detail you have to check. The shopping cart will tell you. That's how it usually goes. So if you see a pattern you like and it's not available in a pre-kitted format, check out a needlework store or a 123 Stitch or whatever, and just kit it up yourself, because this is how usually cross-stitching works compared to diamond painting. Yeah, and also you don't have to go with everything the pattern tells you. So if you have a pattern that you like, but you don't like the fabric, you don't like certain colors in the pattern, you can always switch out stuff. So you are actually pretty free there. Me personally, I haven't done that a whole lot myself, as you might have noticed. I'm still a bit of a pattern follower. That's mostly because I generally tend to think that the designer had an intent behind what they chose. I think the biggest changes I usually make are the fabrics, because I'm not always in love with the fabrics the designers choose. They are often too brown for my liking, which is very classical. Sampler and cross stitch and stuff like that, but people might have noticed I'm a bit more blingy. So yeah, I don't know how helpful this is, but maybe this answers your question a little bit. I think the most important thing is to find your preferred source for materials. So this might depend on where you are. If you are in Europe, especially in the EU, I would recommend checking out Casa Cenina. The link will be down below, because they have a lot of stock and they have kits. So you might get your first kit there. I don't know. If you're in the US, check out one of the millions of cross-stitch stores online, or check which needlework shop you like to work with. Personally, I can recommend Topknot Stitcher, will be below. I also can recommend Acorns and Threads, because those are the two small businesses I have purchased from in the US so far. I'm probably going to try more in the future, like I said, not right now, but you could do it if you are in the US. So I hope this helped a little bit. This at least is a lot more coherent than what I said yesterday, even though this is about 4 minutes longer. So anyway, back to the original footage. Alright, I'm going to stop babbling now. I think I have covered everything. This should be an hour long, maybe even longer. Jeez, I'm looking forward to editing this. And yeah, like I said, I'm going to come back. I don't know if it's going to be this week, but I'm going to come back with a separate video for all the yarny stuff. And yeah, have a wonderful week, and I hope I will talk to you soon. Bye, guys.